Hey everybody, it's Dr. Quinn here, and I'm going to do a review of week 7 content for Writing 393. So take a look at this video, and then I'm going to go over major assignments for the week as well. And then if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out and to let me know. Remember, our weeks are Wednesday morning to Tuesday evening. So in week 7, you'll notice that I always navigate by going to content, and then I go into the week. It just reminds me, I know not all professors do this anymore, but I actually really like this. Keeps me on track for what week we're in. So week 7, and you may see different dates here if you're watching this like next term, but just note that following through content and navigating week by week, I think is a nice way to make sure that everything's on task as far as like what's going on that week. So this is some of the information I've been hinting to students so far, especially with the feedback you've gotten in writing assignment 4, visualization of data. So we're going to talk about data visualization, and we're going to talk about the joy of statistics by looking at this particular video. So those are the two major elements of, we're talking about sort of data presentation and data visualization and rhetorical visual figures and all sort of things like that, in addition to the joy of stats. Okay, so when you look at this, you'll see that this is actually, let me pull my screen down here. It's only one page. It has a bunch of links that are going to be repeated in the discussions as well. So it's just almost like a heads up or reminder. Discussion 1 of the week is on data visualization. And you're going to take a look at these 4, well, they're not always charts. So 4 sets of data conveyance, and you're going to determine which one of each group set is the better one. And you're going to try to explain why. It's really important that technical writers get comfortable conveying information, not always in prose form. Some information is much more clearly conveyed in a table, a chart, a graph, a flow chart, a diagram, etc. So you're going to get a chance to watch this link here. It's a lecture given by Dr. Bunsley, so you'll take a look at her notes there. So all of the week is focused on data, and that's going to sort of have a direct reflection on the content you're going to provide in writing assignment 5 and on your final presentation as well. So those are the things that you'll look at. Now, in the Unit 7 assignments, you're going to go to the resume and cover letter with the summary of PARC. So then when you go here and you click on this assignment, you will see like a landing page, and it's got the assignment rubric and it's got the overview document. So let's take a look at this overview document, because this is going to be the main assignment that's due in week 7. Okay, task. You will follow the guidelines given through the various tools from UMGC's Career Services and write a polished resume for a specific job posting in your field. Whether you're going to apply to this job or not, that's irrelevant. You're just going to practice the technical writing concepts on a document that perhaps needs some updating, perhaps it doesn't, but at least it gives you a fresh way of thinking about how you present documents that represent yourself with a technical lens. Okay? We'll be talking about proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast principles in relation to your resume. So for the resume, there's no minimum max word count. You'll follow the advice from Career Services. A lot of it depends on your field, right? In my field, and so in academia, I have a multi-page resume. I tend to do a curriculum vitae, but certain fields don't do that. So definitely follow the Career Services links to get advice, and just go with your discipline. So don't worry about page length. You will then follow the advice from Career Services, review your summary based on their advice. You will then build some screen captures and talk about how you applied PARC principles to your document. Okay. You're going to submit this in one document. Your document should include the following items: the job posting and description, right? Wherever you find it, that's great. Your cover letter, your resume, and your summary of how you applied the PARC principles. Please do this in one document. That just makes it much, much easier for me to navigate. And if you have any questions about that, reach out and let me know, right? So steps to take: definitely look at job search websites. You can do Monster, you can do Indeed, you can do USA Jobs, you can do, if it's an internal posting from your company, if it's the newspaper, what, it doesn't matter. Submit the following into the assignment folder in one file. The job posting could be page 1, and then you want to enter a page break, and then the cover letter, and then a page break, and then your resume, and then a page break, and then the summary with screen captions, like sort of showing us exactly where that information was applied. Okay, the summary itself, it does not have to be crazy and long. It could be 150 to 250 words. In your screen captures, show an element of proximity, an element of alignment, an element of repetition, and an element of contrast. Note, this is a required draft final. This is something that the department has instituted. This is not something that I have created, but this is something that I absolutely support. Because especially in a condensed 8-week course where we are asynchronous, getting that engagement and feedback from professor, I think, is just so wildly helpful. You'll notice you can score pretty high without that feedback, but I always recommend that you do that feedback. And I'm going to have the same submission deadlines for this assignment that I did for writing assignment 4, meaning that the draft will be due by Tuesday at the end of week 7 and the final by Friday inside of week 8. Okay, but that may mean you only have a couple of days and you have some overlap between writing assignment 5 and the final slides presentation, but you will get to manage that. You can always, post your final version sooner than Friday of week 8 if you need to. Okay. Here's a sample. Let's just zoom in here. Where like on the final page, you could have a table, for example, and you could have proximity, alignment, repetition, and contrast. You could describe in your resume how you did it, and then you got a screenshot with some notes to reflect the discussion. So the discussion of part concepts isn't wild and crazy and super long, or you could have a paragraph and then the screenshot, and a paragraph and the screenshot. There's just one way. There's not one way that you have to do this assignment. If you save this one as a Word document in the draft, I can go in and give formatting feedback if that's necessary. But if you submit the final as a PDF, that will keep all of your images static and make sure nothing pops to a page that you wouldn't want it to. And your cover letter and your resume shouldn't have a lot of graphics. The only graphics you would have at the very end are 4 screenshots. And you've practiced doing screenshots before, so I'm not particularly worried about you doing that because you've done it. Again, you don't have to incorporate a table if you don't want to. Pretty flexible with how you set it up. So that's the assignments for this week. I really hope that you enjoy going back and with a technical lens looking at your professional documents. And hopefully you create one type of resume that you can just keep in your back pocket just in case the perfect job comes along.